The Very Serious Crafts podcast is on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/seriouscrafts to support our podcast, find out about our Patreon half-stitched episodes, and more.
Hello, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 6. I don't know why that was hard for me to say. Season 4, Episode 6 of the Very Serious Crafts podcast. I'm Molly from Wild Olive.
And I'm Haley from Red Handled Scissors and the Bones and Bobbins podcast. Today, we will be talking about dyeing.
Which could be a topic for the Bones and Bobbins podcast.
It's true.
But it's all in how you spell it. So today we will be talking about dyeing, dyeing, as in adding colors to other things.
Yes, pigments to
yes.
Well, fabrics generally speaking, but pigments
but not always. Yeah,
other materials.
That kind of dyeing. Yes.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
should be interesting. Maybe a little messy.
Oh, I hate mess.
Yeah, but...
Well, actually, that's not true, and I just realized that was a very backwards Marie Kondo quote. But, because she loves mess. Mm-hmm. I actually like mess that I have the time and the space to organize, because, boy, do I like to do that.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. But mess from liquid dyes... we're not too far out, as of recording this anyway, from Easter, which, is a good weekend to have multicolor fingers.
Oh, that is very true. Vinegar.
Yeah.
I never realized until much later in life what the vinegar was for. Science geek kid me would have been super interested to know that is, what is it, the mordant?
That's a
to the dye.
Fancy word that I would not have used, but that's okay.
I did a Bones and Bobbins episode that specifically covered the history of black dye.
Okay.
Which is storied. So I think mordant is the word, but I'm also not a dyeing expert, as my mother would never let me use the washing machine to dye anything.
Interesting. We may have to hear more about that. I definitely remember my mom dyeing things, in the washing machine. So she clearly was fine with it.
Fairly certain that my mom also did that. But that was laundry. My mom has a thing about laundry.
I wonder how common that is in moms, because my mom also has a laundry thing.
Oh, I feel like it's one way or the other. Like, I wasn't allowed to do laundry growing up.
Yeah, but no, my mom much prefers to do everyone's laundry in the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a specific way that things are done, and that is how we do them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to the point where when my brother moved away last year, there was some uncertainty over whether or not he was going to be able to do laundry, because my mom enjoyed doing his laundry for him along with everyone else's. Like, it's just like family laundry. Anyway, we're going way off
my
topic,
grandma does
but,
that too.
Yeah, exactly.
If she can do a grandchild's laundry, she will. She wants you to drop it off.
Frankly, I understand, because there's something like, it's laundry is like you put the thing in assuming that you have a washer and a dryer at your house,
which
right? Or
I
just a washer.
certainly don't have either.
You don't, but you put the stuff in, you turn it on, you come back, you just move things around. There's something like where you're accomplishing something without being too actively involved in it that is nice.
Oh, my mother is very actively involved. The amount a very specific pre-treating that goes into literally anything.
Sure.
You know how white socks tend to get a little dingy on the bottom just by existing?
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen even like a decade-old pair of socks of my mother's have any even hint of dinginess.
That's impressive.
It's terrifying.
All right. All right. Who knew? Who knew that we would be discussing laundry methods also? But
today has not been an on-topic kind of day.
It's true. And also, we did promise when we introduced this new season of the podcast that anything could happen. So.
Well, and laundry falls under that.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, my goodness.
Laundry may happen. I don't know. All right.
I wish that I had on-site laundry.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is sad adulting goals right there.
Yes. Yes.
I would be delighted. I'd do a dance. All right.
Speaking of dancing.
Do you want to talk about actual dye?
Well, I was going to say, speaking of dancing, before we talk about like actually dye or dyeing, we should thank one of our latest supporters of the podcast who's supporting us at patreon.com/seriouscrafts. So many thanks to Emily.
Yes. And I was supposed to say that and just talked about laundry. Hi, Emily.
It's all good. We're all just, So, so now that Emily has received her proper thanks.
Yes.
Let's talk about dyeing.
All right. That is a subject I'm very familiar with in almost all of the incarnations you can think of. And
incarnations is a great word in that situation. Because in fact, when you like dye fabric or some other object, it becomes like a new incarnation of itself as well.
It's true.
Which is kind of cool.
You know, can a non-corporeal item actually be incarnate? Because
I've never thought about that question before.
that is like a physical. Okay, we're not going down that hill. Sorry. Yeah. Hi, welcome to my autism. But yeah, it's totally new, totally different.
Yeah, and it's like it's such a cool way to give things new life. I recently put together a tutorial, like a photo step-by-step tutorial on doing coffee dyeing, which is
cool.
It's a great way to, like, things that have some staining. Tea and coffee dye is a great way to essentially cover that. Even if the stains are still there, you kind of add more stains to it so that it becomes intentional. And then that
there's some dimension
things.
to it.
Yeah. So it becomes very, I suppose the method of dyeing that you use could vary on this, but like it's a better way to make things last longer, which is better from an ecological standpoint. And, it also can make things just more interesting. But yeah, good way to reuse things.
Well, fun fact that came into fashion, like people over dyeing things came into fashion, as far as I know, initially when British mourning practices were very prescribed, part of being middle class, or aspiring to be middle class meant you could afford mourning.
Okay.
And so over-dyeing existing garments in black dyes at the time became a common sort of almost status symbol amongst people who could not afford necessarily to buy new.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
And so you get a lot of cool, like, patterns. If you had patterned fabric.
Oh, yeah.
Then, like, because of the dyeing methods of the time, there are lots of different elements that are involved and different metals and things like that. And they are corrosive in different ways. And it's super interesting. And you can get just really cool. Well, things that I think are really cool that were probably kind of frowned upon at the time.
Yes, right. Because obviously having something new would have been the preferred thing for your true status symbol. But yeah, I mean, overdying is...
Yeah. Well, having something tailored was the...
Yeah.
Like, having it made for you was the status symbol. But the first department stores were mass market made morning wear.
Oh. That makes sense. I could see that too. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you couldn't quite afford to have a whole wardrobe made, you could buy various levels of ready-made.
And that would be the kind of thing that you might need in a hurry as well. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wow, that took a turn. All I know is historic information. So That's
fine. Okay, so other dyeing things though on that. So that would have been, I mean, at the time obviously we were talking all natural dyes.
At that time, chemical dyes were just starting to happen. There is a mauve. Mauve was the first chemical dye. But why do I know that? And I'm not even sure if it was mauve the way we think of it. It was just called mauve.
Okay. So kind of like the Victorian coffin pants that you've talked about making.
Yeah. Pretty much.
All right.
I forgot about that.
I don't know when that was. I think that was in season 2. I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in season 2. Maybe the beginning of season 3. Anyway.
Was it the Poppins Pockets
No,
episode?
it wasn't. I feel like it was around the same time that you joined the workspace that you have a membership at.
Oh, well then it would have been last summer.
No, not last summer. Summer before.
Oh, dear me.
We really have lost a pandemic year.
The last year doesn't exist.
It just doesn't count.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, okay. That is fair, because that's when I was watching a lot of mortician videos.
Okay. Yeah, that works. Oh boy. Yeah, so I've not coffee dyeing. That would be a natural dye process. But I haven't done any other kinds of natural. I haven't tried any other kinds.
I'm afraid of a lot of dyeing processes because the chemical reactions involved aren't particularly safe.
Well, the thing was, I was looking into this at one point and thinking I might like to try it, and specifically I found that I was really interested in trying dyeing with black beans.
I have multiple books on the subject of natural dyeing. In fact, thanks being an editor at Craft.
Like black bean dyeing can produce these really cool like blue colors, and I've even seen some that go almost green-ish, and I was like, this is a great idea. I should do this. And I have some undyed yarn that I bought ages ago, and I thought,
oh, apparently mint leaves do a similar thing.
Oh, interesting. But I thought, well, I should try this. And then when I started looking at the process, I was like, oh, this will be a big deal. Like, this isn't gonna just be, it's not like brewing coffee and dyeing. It's like heating for long periods of time, and
yeah, you're causing a chemical reaction that makes those pigments bond with the
and
fiber.
it's a big process.
Yeah.
So I have not done that yet.
And like that's the difference between like embroidery floss. If you buy nice embroidery floss versus not nice, the color fastness of dyes is actually specifically related to the amount of work and chemistry that goes into the production.
Yes.
And so that's why cheaper floss that has less of a production input will often run.
Well,
especially red.
Especially red. Because even...
Oh my goodness. Even good floss
the red can do that. So, yeah. Yeah, in fact, I have tested some embroidery floss that is not on the market yet, and one of the specific things that was a test for it was color fastness, and that is always the thing. Okay, so I've worked with the Lemonade Shop, and Heather is she makes some really, really fun yarns, and I love working with her yarns. And yeah, so she's doing chemically dyed yarns and these amazing, the fact that, you know, any yarn dyer that is making these, you know, speckled yarns and rainbow, you know, yarns and all these different things, my mind is blown by their consistency. The fact that they can dye skeins and skeins and skeins of yarn and have it all match in, you know, that's astounding to me. They are so good at what they do.
Oh yeah. I have a friend named Ridgely who is the, I would say, artist behind Astrobath yarns.
Okay.
And the color combinations that she puts together are just, I mean, she has an eye for color, but it's also just kind of mind-blowing. I will link to her, well, I guess her Etsy.
Yeah, and I'll link to the Lemonade Shop as well.
Yeah. Her yarns are in enough demand that there are drops and then they disappear.
Yes, that is the same thing with Heather's.
Yeah, and I feel like there are a lot of like cult favorite yarn makers and dyers, but I think I know just enough chemistry to be afraid of it and not quite enough to feel confident in being safe about it.
Yeah. Yeah, because this is very different than buying a tie-dye kit, for example. It's very different from that. Which is still a whole thing.
I have done that inside my apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
With teens.
Well, I did tie-dyeing with teens, but we were outside for that one. So.
Oh, that's probably for the best. Yeah, we were in my tiny hardwood floor Brooklyn apartment. Actually, though, nothing got anywhere. It was Pride, and so we were tie-dyeing outfits to wear because my niece was in New York visiting me for the first time ever, and it happened to coincide with that weekend. And like, it's just a super fun party. And so they wanted to make custom shirts and stuff to wear. And, well, I did not die of a panic attack.
That was the DIE version.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Although I have DYE'd with manic panic.
Okay.
Which is a very different thing. Anyway, that would be hair dye.
Yes. Yes.
But,
and I have always enjoyed that story of all the hair dye things. Okay. Other dyeing. Here's one. This is one that I have done. I have done dyeing with Kool-Aid.
Oh yeah, me too. Was it your hair?
It was not my hair. I tried wool blend felt, and it was interesting. It was like, in fact, I just used some that I dyed ages ago. I found it and used it in a project. So wool blend felt is usually a mix of wool and rayon. And when you are doing any kind of dyeing, certain fibers are going to absorb obviously you know this, Haley, but listeners, if you haven't done a lot of dyeing, certain fibers are going to absorb color differently than others.
Yes, like wools and silks, the actual natural fibers, specifically animal fibers.
Just they love it the most. So I think probably because of the blend of fibers, the way that felt comes together, non-woven fibers, that it took the color differently. So you got kind of almost a heathered effect from it,
which I love.
Yeah, it was a little bit lighter color than I would have expected, except that I expected at the time, I will say. And as I've come to learn more about the dye process, those colors made perfect sense because there's still only a certain amount of pigment in the Kool-Aid. So, the deeper the dye, the more vibrant the color is going to be. But to make kind of like some pastel heathered felt, it worked pretty well. I was impressed.
Did you do anything special with it or just let it dry?
That was a really long time ago, and now I don't remember.
Just for things like...
I think I just heat set it.
Yeah,
I think really I probably just heat set it with an iron.
Did you iron it?
Yeah, exactly. And I also knew, I've known that I wouldn't want to use that on anything that would have a lot of washing anyway. But you wouldn't do that with felt so much anyway.
No, that's not really what that does.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting, especially if you're using blends, to actually see, even if you're using natural blends, like cotton is not interested. It's not. It does not want your dyes.
You have to work hard.
Your chemical dyes.
Yeah.
It does not want your natural dyes.
Yeah, even that coffee dyeing that I've done, it just stayed fairly light, which was fine. But there was just a point where it was like, nope, that's it. That's all you're gonna do.
And I think that has to do with the length of the fibers, but I can't remember because it's been a while since I did that particular episode when I learned all about dyeing. But yeah, I am deeply impressed by skilled dyers. I think that that is one of those things that historically dyers have been both expert chemists and expert fiber workers at the same time.
Yeah.
And since the onset of dye. And that skill was worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I feel like that today, because we can get most things ready-made and we aren't going through that process, that people don't understand, A, how much work is involved, B, how much specific knowledge there is involved, depending on the color, depending on the mordant, depending on the fiber, and how all of those things interact, and how maybe multiple colors, because you can over-dye things for different effects. And I find that whole thing to be fascinating. And I really want to do some indigo dip dyeing, but I know that I would never recover from the mess.
That could be very intense. That could be. But yeah, I would love to try that. I feel like a friend of mine took a shibori dyeing class, and I can't remember for sure. But yeah, I would love to try
that was a thing for a while.
Yeah.
That, like, back when I was writing for Craft, that was all over.
Yeah.
So it's probably due for a comeback.
Probably.
Oh, I was just going to say, my friend Kim, who I did not know was doing this, all of the sudden posted yesterday about the natural dyeing workshop that she just led. And so there are, the photo from this workshop is yarns in greens and yellows and pinks and purples, and then a bunch of different ingredients. And so it's funny how sometimes brains overlap amongst groups of friends. And, like, the actual outcome looks really, really, like, significantly more vibrant than I would often associate with natural dyes. And I happen to know that she has a cabin and spent the summer collecting materials so she could play with natural dyes. And I think that might have been not last summer, but the summer before. I don't remember. But yeah, but the outcome is really cool, and clearly she sorted it out. She's also done soap making, which I'm afraid to do for the same reason that I'm afraid to do chemical dyeing, but even just any dyeing. It's a lot.
At my house, we were making these little sets of, I think that this was actually shared once in our show notes or social media or whatever, these little sets to be able to retell stories. And it was for our special needs ministry at church. And so this way, each participant had objects that they could use while telling the story. And we wanted to have like mountains or hills in some way. And I was like looking at all these different options, and I settled on, I wanted them to be wood. And of course you can't have just like natural wood. And we didn't want to go through, I think we made we might have made like 60 sets. We made a lot of them. And
I remember when you were doing this.
It was like a whole family project. My dad cut the triangles of wood. My brother sanded them. And then my mom and I dyed them. And we put them into a bath of green RIT dye. And we just, the wood floats. So you had to constantly, find ways to either hold them down or just push them down and give them enough time to soak in the color. And we did not set that color because we were like,
it's hard to heat set wood.
It's hard to heat set wood. Exactly. So we did that. But that was actually, I found that to be a very fun project to dye something other than fabric.
Yeah, and especially because the grain of the wood makes it so interesting.
Yeah, and like also you would see the difference in how the wood took the dye on the, the smooth grain edges versus the cut ends. It was different.
Right, which is completely different. I also, because I'm afraid of dying, I am... I also like playing around with like sun printing and also natural printing.
Yeah.
Like where you do pressing or anything like that with fabric or on other things.
Yeah.
Because that's to me, it's the chemistry in slow motion.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if, like, when you are naturally printing, like, leaves and flowers and stuff, if maybe they ferment slightly, and that is why those pigments stick. I am really just guessing.
Well,
there.
I like a good hypothesis.
Yes, that is fully a hypothesis. Yeah. But I really, really love the different varieties of outcomes that you can get by just letting nature do nature.
Yeah. Well, and very unexpected.
Unexpected colors.
Right, exactly. If you haven't researched what color a plant is going to dye a thing,
it's not what you think.
It's rarely what you expect it to be. And I have learned from Katie Green, who was in our last episode with us, that green is actually one of the hardest colors to naturally dye.
Yes.
That it just...
green and black.
You would think...
or true black.
Yeah,
anyway.
Sure. You would think with all of the green plants that you would get green dye out of them, but it's just not true.
No, it's difficult to get that. And also vivid blues, there are very, very few actual true black pigments that absorb the full spectrum of light. And there are very, very few like true blue pigments or like the cadmium red pigment that you think of. And like there's a reason that stuff is expensive. There's a reason that purple is a royal color. And it's because blue and red dyes were really expensive.
Yeah.
So, and dyes were a status symbol. If you had something dyed, specifically if you had something dyed black in a certain time period, like you were just strutting around showing that you had money. Like imagine like that now is completely not the case. But I love that idea of being like, what? I can afford this black suit coat. Yes. This hat band, black. So anyway, dye is fascinating, and there's so much both history and craft to it.
Yeah. Well, and there are we didn't even talk about like dyeing with ice or other, like there's all kinds of techniques for doing things that are just it's so cool.
Yeah, and I mean, you can get creative with it in a way that, like, the outcomes aren't necessarily predictable.
Yeah.
But they're almost always interesting.
Yeah. Oh, batik. There's another, like, a whole other
there
thing.
we
like,
go.
There's so many things, but
yeah, I feel like we need to take a dyeing workshop, both of us.
I think that would be very fun. And
those are almost never existing in New York City because almost every lease for craft stores says that you aren't allowed to dye.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
in multiple ways. You probably should not do either.
Yes. Yeah. I this particular topic, it invites plenty of puns, and yet none were needed because it just happened.
The dad jokes were on me this time.
They were just right there. They were so natural. Like dying in some cases. Or in all cases. Well, natural dying and natural dying. And yeah, anyway. Okay.
This isn't me. I just want everyone to know that I am not the one saying that. I'm thinking it.
It's just what it is.
Them's the facts.
Exactly that. So, yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should wrap this up. And if you are a person who dyes things and would like to have a conversation with us about that process, I have so many questions that I would love to ask.
Yeah. And if we've described certain things and or we made assumptions about things, we would love to learn.
Yes. Tell us that we are wildly mistaken and we will correct ourselves.
Yes. Because, frankly, we've just talked about this without really, really learning about this fully. We've just sort of gone, hey, this is interesting. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we both have just enough experience to be dangerous.
Yeah, that's accurate.
In our distributing of facts. Or not facts.
That too.
All right, so I'm going to put an end to this particular pun-laden
It's time for this
frenzy.
episode to die. Sorry.
And on that note right there, thanks for listening to the Very Serious Crafts podcast. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Serious Crafts and on Facebook at Very Serious Crafts. You can also find show notes and all things Very Serious Crafts at veryseriouscrafts.com. And finally, if you are a fan of the Very Serious Crafts podcast, or just really, really want a way to get in direct personal touch to tell us that we're wrong, please leave a 5-star review and tell us.
Sure.
With an emphasis on the 5-star review, on whichever platform you use to listen to podcasts. Good ratings help us show up in recommendations, which helps more people who love crafting find us.
Yes. Well, this has been a very colorful episode.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
Molly coming in hot with the dad jokes at the end.
Well, you know, it just was there. It was just right there.
This is why I love you.
Okay, thank you. Love you too. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.